In interview, SRTs are most important aspects of your interview personality test. Though in SSB, SRTs are having more significance, but in CAPF Assistant Commandant Examination, from every candidate, noted deeper aspects of SRTs are asked. From some candidates, just general aspects are asked, but you should remember, you should know about the basic aspects or most crucial aspects of SRTs. SRTs means situation response test. As an assistant commandant, as a company commander, you will go, you will face certain situations during your actual job when you have to respond at quick action. With quick time, you have to take action. During those time, your training, your learning, your experiences, and your ability to take risk will make you in a condition to take your decisions which will give positive outcome. No decision is perfect or no person is having sufficient information. There are certain time when we are having very less information, and based on that you have to act. It is said na, if there is information asymmetry, no person is having perfect information. Remember one of the movies in Baby. So the minister asked, what is the possibility of success? Akshay Kumar said, 5%. Are you mad? Bola, no. Even at 1% I go. Obviously, that is a movie, but in real life, things are not working in that way. But still, you should have basic minimum informations. So in SRTs, you are given certain situations. Interview board wants that you should respond to that situation. In that situation, either they will give you alternatives. There are two alternatives, three alternatives. Which one you choose? Or you have to explore certain alternatives. See, in ethics paper of civil services mains, a case study is given. Based on that case study, they are asking, find certain alternatives. Which alternatives the person is having? Let us take, they are asking, you are deputy district collector or deputy commissioner or manager or someone else. You are having this type of situations. This event happened under these circumstances. What alternatives you are having? Let us take suggest 4 alternatives, and which alternative you will choose and why you will choose. So here also in situation response test, maybe certain case, certain aspect, certain situations will be given to you, and board will ask what alternatives you are having in front of you and which one you will choose and why you will choose. Or they are giving 2 or 3 alternative on their own and you have to choose one. But always remember, you have to give reason why you are choosing that. In force, in uniform job, command is the most important aspect, crucial part. There is hierarchy. Obviously, there are situations where you have to deviate yourself a little bit. You may, in real life, you may know that once Lieutenant General Harbakh Singh during 1965 India-Pakistan war, he was commander-in-chief of Northern Army Command, and at that time, General Chaudhary was chief of Army Staff. So Lieutenant General Harbakh Singh, indirectly, he disobeyed the command of Army chief. But his move was right, so no action was taken. But certain circumstances, if you are not obeying the command of your senior, you have to be in a condition to face disciplinary action or certain more actions. But this is interview, and here in interview board, what you say is not written in your annual confidential report once you are selected. No, this is just your answer that interview board wants to know as a person who is not having exposure on real ground, still a person who is a graduate minimum, and the person who qualified written examination, the person who passed through physical and medical stage, and here in the board with minimum maturity, you have to reply. So while replying your answer, you should consider yourself that you are a uniform, you are a member of uniform forces, and you have to follow the chain of command. Once your senior is saying something, directly you cannot say, I will not obey your command. But command is given in certain different situations, and you have to execute sometime in slightly different situations. Another thing, you are there to serve the nation. You are not there to fulfill someone else's piece only. Remember one movie, Sorry movie, I think 2008. So there KK Menon is in the role of a brigadier. So he says, I'm God here. So what I say, Brigadier Pratap, what, what Brigadier Pratap says, this is the rule. But you see, a major, uh, the role played by Rahul Bose, he is not agreeing with Brigadier, and finally, rest is a story. So always you are not supposed to blindly follow the command if the command is not following the basic principles of force, Indian Constitution, or it is against the unity and integrity of India, or it is directly violating human rights. So there are certain aspects. Let us take, I said key, you have to find some alternatives if they are asking in this situation what actions you will take. So you have to find certain 3-4 alternatives. Yeah, I have 3-4 alternatives, and which one you choose. If they ask, then you have to say I will choose this path, and you have to give explanation. In situation response test, you may ask permission to think, and you must think 20 to 30 seconds depending on the questions. If they themselves are giving alternative, you have to take little lesser time. If you have to form your own alternatives or your own options, then you can take little more time. Then one is, for example, I said about hierarchy, chain of command is important. Then you must see larger interest of country. It should not be grave injustice to larger section of society or something. Then another thing is discipline. You must follow discipline or SOP, a standard operating procedure. In force, there are certain guidelines while you are going for any operation. So there are certain guidelines you must follow. But every time there are certain deviations based on the requirement of situation. What you are taught to your training, these are your pillars. But actual execution, while executing actually, situation is not ideal anytime. In training, you are given many instructions. Every instruction in that order, you will not be in a condition to follow. But still, basic SOP, you must follow. Then you should, sometimes questions are asked related to your core task and subsidiary task. Core task means protection. protection of certain area. Sometime you will see on airport or certain important installations where security personnel are there. It is written, don't ask any question from that person. For help desk, there is other help desk. Sometimes what happens, if a person is looking to that area, the person is on attention position, and the person is with weapon and have some area of dominance. And if some person is coming for asking some information, then the concentration of that person will deviate. And in that way, in that moment, something else can happen. So there are certain moments where you have to have main focus on your core area, and you have to sacrifice your subsidiary area. If a force person is on duty and he or she has to be alert every moment, then at that moment you cannot disturb that person, or the person who is there should be in a condition not to be disturbed. Okay, so you have to decide your priority, your core task. Core task should always be your priority. Once you are free from your core task, or if you are having extra manpower, extra resources, then only you can utilize. Then certain aspects are immediate action. Immediate action. See, there are certain routine tasks. Routine tasks, let us take 3 persons are there, or 2 person in group. So 3 shift, 2 person in one shift, 2 person in other shift, 2 person in other shift. So 2 persons are mandatory for one shift. If we are having some immediate course of action, then 1 person from here can be given to the immediate task, but 1 person at least will be there. Minimum number of person will do the routine task. If extra person is there, then the person will be relieved for immediate task. Let us take, there is a fire. Your task is not to control fire. Your task is to guard the ammunition depot or guard any installation. Still, if there is a fire, immediate situation is there, then you have to provide some people, or at immediate action should be taken. So always remember, in situation response test or any aspects where your opinion is of utmost important, always remember there is no perfect answer. No perfect answer. But you should reply based on your criteria, which I mentioned. Let us take hierarchy, chain of hierarchy, your senior command, discipline, immediate task or core task or subsidiary task, then human rights aspect, then constitutional values, then integrity and unity of India. So many aspects you have to take care. Your honesty to the post. Let us take any of your senior is giving any order which is not for the betterment of force. Let us take, there is a task and your senior is saying, first do my personal task. Then if it is not in domain, then you have to say my priority task is that I have to perform that way. Obviously, in practical life, you will face sometime difficult situation. But here in interview board, as much as possible, you should stick to the principle. Sometime you are having both alternatives good, okay? Both alternatives good enough. Or you can say both alternatives positive. And you have to choose one. Then choose best one. Sometimes both alternatives are bad in nature or both will be harmful. Then you should choose less harmful. Always there are, if alternatives, you have to choose one. There are so many aspects. So whatever you are choosing, you should choose in best possible way. If you are having any questions, query, doubts, you can ask, you can message. Okay, thank you.